everyone, I am Janhavi Panwar. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you people are new over here, then welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to understand everything that we read and how to remember everything that we read. So, let's go. Okay, so tip number 1 is that you have to be an active reader. If you have problems with understanding everything that you read, or if you have problem remembering everything that you read, so for that, you have to be a very active reader. The problem with us is we read very rarely. And when we read, after in like a few months or in a few weeks, then we tend not to understand anything. Instead, what you're going to do, you're going to read on a daily basis. You have to create a reading habit in which you're going to read for 30 to 40 minutes a day, daily. Before sleeping or waking up in the morning, in the afternoon, whatever time suits you, you have to read. It doesn't matter that you have to study at a particular time daily. Whenever you can spare some time, whenever you can spare like 30 or 40 minutes, start reading. And even if you can't spare 30 or 40 minutes, then start reading in chunks. For example, when you wake up in the morning, so you scroll through your phone. So scroll through some of the news articles, read them for 10 to 15 minutes. When you're traveling, when you're in a public vehicle, so over there you can start reading any article or anything. You can start reading news articles, magazines, newspapers. Then when you reach your university or your work or your workplace, so over there you work and stuff, then it's lunchtime. So during lunchtime, you can read anything. You can pick up a novel, you can pick up a magazine, you can start reading that. You can read that for 10 to 15 minutes. Then when you come back home, before sleeping, you can read a novel for 20 to 25 minutes. So if you cannot spare 30 to 40 minutes as a whole on a daily basis, then start reading in chunks. That will create a reading habit, and that will make you an active reader. And that will also make you familiar with the kind of words that are used while we write stuff, and that will also make you familiar is that when you read anything, so how to grasp the concept, how to scan the keywords. And believe me, that only comes with a practice, that only comes with a habit. Tip number 2. Now, the problem with us is that we just keep reading, we read and read. We don't visualize stuff. So it's important that we visualize as well. For example, if you're reading a motivational book, all right? So while reading a motivational book, you can understand everything. You relate everything with yourself. The problem is that we don't visualize. Or for example, you're reading a chemistry book and they're telling you about some chemical formulas. So you just keep reading and you're like, this is so bad. I can't understand a single of this thing. So whenever this happens, you have to visualize stuff. Visualize yourself doing that process. Visualize yourself in that chemical process. Visualize you putting all of those chemicals in a beaker. If you're doing some biology work, visualize yourself as a plant. So it's important that we keep visualizing whatever we are reading. If you're doing maths, then how are you going to visualize yourself? Visualize yourself as Arya Bhatt, like you just invented all of this stuff. So the problem is that we keep wasting and squandering our time in understanding the concept. Instead, you can make it way easier if you just visualize yourself in those concepts. Tip number 3, whatever you read, start reading it in your own words. Skim through everything, okay, so this chemical formula is of hydrogen and oxygen, got it? Now, after reading a paragraph, now repeat everything in your own words to remember everything, to understand everything. Now, sometimes we're not familiar with the bookish language, with the bookish words, with the bookish, whatever the way the author write, because every author has their own skills, has their own set of writing. So sometimes we're not familiar with their writing and it becomes hard for us to understand and to remember whatever they have written in their own words, in their own set of vocabularies. Instead, what we can do, we can start repeating all of those stuff that an author has written in our own words. Basically, after you have read a paragraph, now visualize that paragraph and also repeat it in your own words, so that's going to make it easier for you to understand everything that you read because you are familiar with your own words. This is tip number 4, I guess, or 5. I don't know what this tip is, but this tip is pretty important. But to understand everything, it's also important that you have a good set of vocabulary. Reading always comes with different words, with different vocabulary. I can keep telling you, all right, keep skimming, keep visualizing, keep repeating in your own words, but The main part is that you really need to have a good hold on your vocabulary, a good hold on words. So for that, you are going to become an active reader, and whenever you find a new word, you are going to go on your Google and search for that word, but not in a bilingual dictionary. In whatever language you're reading, you're going to search the meaning in that same language. That's going to make it easier for you to understand, so that you don't mix up everything that you read in two different languages. So always make sure to not use a bilingual dictionary and just one dictionary. So have a good hold on vocabulary. That's going to make you understand better everything that you read, and that's also going to make you remember everything better. And this final tip is something related to law of assumption. Okay, so it's important that we keep reminding ourselves that I understand everything that I read. It's very, very important. If you keep reminding yourself, oh my God, I'm going to forget this after 10 minutes. I'm going to forget this after 20 minutes. I'm going to forget this after a week. What's going to happen then? Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to keep reminding yourself after you have read a chapter is that I remember everything that I read. It's very easy for me to remember everything that I read, and it's very easy for me to understand everything that I read. So always think positive. That's it, and thank you everybody for watching. I'm going to see you people in the next video. Make sure you follow all of these tips to understand and remember everything that you read, and bye everyone, stay safe.